Jelly Roll, who I don't really know anything about. I take it that he is a musician. He has a lot of face tattoos. He's a really interesting looking guy. And he's an interesting sounding guy. Jelly Roll just testified before Congress about the drug crisis overtaking the country. He's a former drug dealer himself. And the way that we talk about that crisis and the way that we talk about crime broadly.
I also understand the paradox of my history as a drug dealer standing in front of this committee. But equally, I think that's what makes me perfect to talk about this. I was a part of the problem. I am here now standing as a man that wants to be a part of the solution. I brought my community down. I hurt people. I was the uneducated man in the kitchen playing chemist with drugs I knew absolutely nothing about, just like these drug dealers are doing right now when they're mixing every drug on the market with fentanyl, and they're killing the people we love. I'll be honest with y'all, my desire is to only get older and only do better and be better. I believed when I sold drugs genuinely that selling drugs was a victimless crime. I truly believe that, y'all. My father always told me what doesn't get you in the wash will get you in the rinse. Now I have a 15-year-old daughter whose mother is a drug addict. Every day I get to look in the eyes of a victim in my household of the effects of drugs. Every single day. And every single day I have to wonder, if me and my wife, if today will be the day that I have to tell my daughter that her mother became a part of the national statistic.
What doesn't get you in the wash will get you in the rinse. I really like that line. I'm going to have to use that line, I think. That's a great insight. But the best insight that Jelly Roll has there is this term victimless crime. Because first he says, actions have consequences. What doesn't get you in the wash will get you in the rinse. Today, we think that actions don't have consequences. We think that we will totally be immune to the logical and natural consequences of our actions. There's a great meme that was going around for a while. And the meme was me sewing. Yeah, this is awesome. I love sewing. Yeah, I love just sewing and planting all these little things, and then me reaping. Ooh, yikes, how did this happen? I don't want to reap what I sow. I just want to keep doing all the sewing. That's really fun. We know it. We know this about ourselves, that we try to divorce. I mean, the clearest example is in sex stuff. We divorce the end of sex from sex itself. But we do it in everything, man. We do it in everything now. I don't know if it's because of a failure of long-term planning or because of a denial of logic. I guess that's probably what it is. Because in logic, things have consequences. And we deny logic these days. And so we end up with phrases, and this is the key phrase that Jelly Roll used. We end up with phrases like victimless crime. People on the right use that phrase, especially the segments of the right that want to go squishy on the social issues. They say, oh, who cares about a victimless crime? Do you hear yourself? Do you hear that phrase? That's a meaningless phrase because by definition, there can be no such thing as a victimless crime. We'll get to why in a second. Right now, go to goodranchers.com, use code Knowles. You know what I had for dinner last night? I come home and Elisa said, I just made a quick little sauce. I said, okay, so it was just pasta. Well, I forget what kind of pasta and a nice little sauce. But it was easy, you make it in 10 minutes. So she makes this up, whatever. I said, oh, this is really good sauce. What kind of sauce is that? That's just a little meat sauce, just a quick meat sauce. I said, I don't know, meat sauce is easy. It's just the canned tomatoes and the this and that. So then it occurred to me, the only thing that would have determined how tasty the sauce was the meat. So I said, well, where'd you get this? This is like the best meat sauce I've had in a long time. She goes, huh? Oh, I just got the Good Ranchers hamburger and and it was the Good Ranchers meat. Of course it was. Good Ranchers has the absolute best meat out there. Their chicken is unbelievable. Their beef is unbelievable. They're all their stuff. They've got everything. And it's the best in the business and the prices are the lowest in the business somehow and it sells itself. I don't know how they do it. Go to goodranchers.com, use code Knowles, KNWLES, to enjoy free chicken in 2024 plus an additional $20 off your first order. Change the way you buy meat by switching to Good Ranchers. Subscribe today, use code Knowles, KNWLES, to claim over $200 in free chicken and New Year savings. Goodranchers.com, American meat delivered. I hate the phrase victimless crime. The libs use it. The libs coined it, the libs popularized it, of course. But now everyone uses it. People on the right use it. Libertarians who argue for the decriminalization of drugs or prostitution or all sorts of weird social stuff. They say, oh, it's a victimless crime. We should stop prosecuting. There's no such thing as a victimless crime. Do you know where that phrase comes from? The phrase comes from 1965, the 1960s, when many, many bad things were coined and popularized. This is one of them. It was coined in an academic paper by a guy named Edwin Schur, and the title of the paper was Crimes Without Victims, Deviant Behavior and Public Policy. And you know what his examples are? This is what comes after the colon. Abortion, homosexuality, drug addictions. Specifically drug addictions, exactly what Jelly Roll's talking about. It says it's a victimless crime. Oh yeah? Tell that to the parent who lost a kid to drugs. Tell that to the many, many mothers and fathers in America right now whose kids are dead because of fentanyl and drugs. Victimless crime. Not only are the kids victims, the parents are victims. The brothers, the sisters, the whole political community. You kidding me? Drugs are a victimless crime? It's one of the greatest examples of victimization going on in our whole country right now. We have an overdose epidemic that is so colossal that basically everyone, I think everyone that I know, knows someone or knows someone who knows someone who has died because of this. What about the other ones? Forget homosexuality for a second. That'll be it. We talked about that enough on the show yesterday, 2 days ago. Abortion is a victimless crime? You murder a little innocent baby, that's a victimless crime? I don't think so. And those are the best examples they could come up with, by the way. Crazy. Because there's no such thing as a victimless crime. Because a crime is, by definition, an injustice. It's an act of violence against someone. It can be an act of violence against your neighbor. It can be an act of violence against the self. It can be an act of violence against art, nature, and God. But it's an act. There's an injustice there. There is a victim there. You can't, unless you just deny sin, unless you deny that anything is better than anything else, which I guess some people do. They don't really mean it because it's obviously nonsensical. The moment someone says, there's no such thing as sin, there's no such thing as morality, man, the question I always ask is, oh yeah, would you say it's better to bake a pie for a widow than it is to kick an orphan in the head? And they look at me and say, oh, that's a stupid question. Now, why is it a stupid question? Do you have an answer for it? The smart ones among them, they don't want to answer. But the answer, yeah, of course it's better to bake a pie for a widow than it is to kick an orphan in the head. Okay, so if some things are better than other things, then there is a moral order, and there's good, and there's bad. If you would go so far as to say it's a crime to kick an orphan in the head, you are describing that kind of injustice in political terms. You're describing victimhood. Of course. Man, what a great clip that was. Now, hold up. You got to ring that bell. Subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. Now, please. Pretty please. Thank you. Appreciate that. See you next time.